Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday afternoon, 12:30, which means it's the People-to-People Employment Market Update live here on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, I thought it was really appropriate, actually, that we had the countdown today, which looked like it was snowing, I think, even in our countdown, which, given the weather today, it is freezing all over the place, and particularly down south. I was thinking that I think there was even a little bit of snow in the last couple of days in Melbourne, but I've got some great pictures actually of what's been happening in Tasmania. Check that out. This is Tasmania. There's a couple more here, I think, Jaden, you've got there. Yeah, there's another one. Not sure if that's over top of Hobart. I saw on Twitter that there was a couple of people that were saying that this is not Hobart, but it's certainly all over Tasmania. And there's a couple more there, I think, Jaden, if you just want to show. Yeah, look at that. Look at the frost. Frost are big in New South Wales too. Heard the Dubbo this morning in New South Wales was -5, which was just pretty amazing. So who would have thought? COVID and now snow and -5 in Dubbo. But anyway, that's not what we're here for today. What we're here for is to talk about the employment market. So what we're going to cover off today is an overview of the market conditions across Australia. Then we'll have our regular numbers section, and there's some interesting survey results from the ABS that have come out this week. We'll join Bianca Luck from our Sydney team, who's got an update on what is happening in the temporary market. Then we'll also be joining Mary Savova from Melbourne, because we're working on some pretty special opportunities down in Victoria at the moment, and she's got some details about that. And then she's got a great piece of advice on how to navigate this jobs market at the moment as well. So if you've got some comments, please, we can see them live. Pop them into Facebook, pop them into YouTube, and we'll get to them pretty quickly. And also, don't be afraid to ask questions, yeah? We're here, we can see them, we'll answer them as soon as we see them, so in context. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with the market wrap-up. Now, I'll be pretty quick on the market wrap-up this week. There seems to be more activity going on around at the moment. It was an improvement last week, and there seems to be an improvement this week. But in specific markets, we've had more vacancies listed in New Zealand, in Queensland, in South Australia, despite the restrictions coming in a little bit in South Australia. So certainly a little bit more movement in the marketplace. I'm not going to suggest that we're anywhere near some sort of normal jobs market. That is absolutely not the case. But there is more temporary and contract work coming through, which is why Bianca will be focusing on that later today. There's also some anecdotes around in the marketplace at the moment on candidate hesitancy. If you watch this broadcast each week, then you would have heard me talk about candidate hesitancy in the past, and that's what's unique about this particular downturn. Consultants are experiencing the situation where they're calling people about vacancies, and these are maybe people who are currently in a permanent job, and they are just absolutely flat out not interested in talking about the possibility of changing their current employment situation at the moment. They're happy to stick with the devil they know. They're not looking even to consider. There's too much uncertainty, and they just want to stick with where they are. So that's really quite interesting to see that is still playing out in the marketplace. The other thing that in the market at the moment that was disappointing news this week was that the announcement that Virgin was reducing their staff numbers by 3,000. That will obviously affect the Brisbane market, and comes on top of what's going on with the announcement with Qantas reducing their staff numbers by 5,000. So not good for the aviation industry, and certainly not a surprise as well. So now let's move on. Let's talk a little bit through the numbers and this survey that we've seen the results of by the ABS. So the ABS have sent through the results of a series of 4 questions that they ask businesses, and it's really around the effect of COVID on these businesses. And what I thought I'd show you is graphically the differences between the beginning of the downturn and also how the answers to the same question have changed over the last series of weeks. So let's start with the first one, Jaden, if you wanted to pop that one up. And you can see here that this question is that they were asked, businesses that were very concerned that another COVID-19 outbreak will impact their business by selected states. So you can see Victoria is on the left-hand side, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, and Western Australia. The different coloured columns, the darkest is 2 weeks to June 12, the next column is 2 weeks to June 26, and the lightest is 2 weeks to July 10. And you can see how the situation has changed, that in Victoria, that the number of businesses that were very concerned about a second wave and how would it impact their business in Victoria has gone from a third to 2/3 by July from the beginning of June. Interestingly, and in stark contrast, Western Australia has gone from a third down to 23% in the same time. South Australia has crept up. Queensland, it's roughly the same, and in New South Wales, it's gone from a third to a half. So very interesting, and probably not a surprise there. I imagine if we did that survey result for today about what that effect would be for Victoria. Let's go to the next one, Jaden. And this one is that businesses that expect to decrease staff in the coming months. Light green is Victoria, the dark blue is Australia, and you can see June 12, June 26, July, and you can see that has the percentage or the proportion of businesses has increased from just 1% in Victoria at the beginning through to 8% planning to decrease staff in Victoria on the 10th of July. Let's move to the next one. This one is businesses that currently have staff stood down, and you can see that it's gone from 2 weeks, in 12th of June, 20%, July, 24%. That would be a remarkably larger number now with the stage 4 lockdowns in Victoria. I think it's also interesting to see that 13% of businesses throughout Australia have staff that are currently stood down. I think that's quite a large number. The next one, businesses that currently have staff working reduced hours. So you can see Victoria, 33, 38. That they would obviously be much higher now, and you can see that 28% for the whole country on the 10th of July. So I thought that was very interesting just to see Victoria is very much in the news at the moment. These were the results of the survey that the ABS have put out. Some positive news to end on for the numbers. Let's have a look at the Purchasing Managers Index, which is a survey of purchasing managers, and this is for China. On their intentions, and the good news. And look, in the past, we would always be talking about the US. And what was the old joke? The United States catches cold and we get pneumonia. These days, it's always about China. And you can see here that for services, Purchasing Managers Index is higher than pre-COVID, and similarly with manufacturing, higher than pre-COVID. That is good news for Australia. If the trade relations remain steady between Australia and China, and you can certainly see that in the iron ore price at the moment. So there is some good news out there that this will end, despite the survey results from Victoria. So that's it for the numbers. So now let's move to the spotlight on the market, and let's have a chat to Bianca Luck.
Hello. Hi, Mark. How are you going? Thank you. So overall, there's been a lot of activity in property recruitment. As a team, we've worked on filling 16 vacancies across 4 different clients in 2 different locations, so Gold Coast and Sydney. 7 of these roles have already been filled, which means that 5 of them are still vacant. So the salaries for these roles range anything from $65K to $90K, so around $32 an hour to $45 an hour. They're to start as soon as possible, and they range from anything from a short-term contract through to temp to perm. So please reach out to us. I know Jaden's going to be putting the links to one of the ads shortly on the screen if you've got any portfolio or property or strata accounting experience. There's also been a strong demand for payroll candidates still. This is a really candidate short market. I'm recruiting a payroll officer role for a very amazing client. So it's based in St Leonards. It's a long-term fixed-term contract until May 2021. So any amount of payroll experience will be considered. It's also nice to see that education has come back, because it certainly has been an area that's been affected since COVID-19, and we're recruiting an assistant accountant role at the moment. It is part-time for a client based in St Leonard's. We are also recruiting a digital marketing specialist role that we're reaching out. So if you've got if you've got digital marketing experience, we'd love to hear from you. It's in Macquarie Park. It's for one of our clients, and it's a 6-month contract, and the hourly rate's $35 an hour. So all in all, as a summation, it has been a lot busier, and most of the roles have been in property or property-related businesses.
Have you been surprised by that, Bianca?
I am a little bit surprised considering.
Sorry about that.
I am a little bit surprised considering most people are working from home, and property is definitely one of those markets that have been affected since COVID. But most of the roles that have been called through have been based because one of my clients is doing a systems implementation and an upgrade. So they've called through 12 roles with the one company, and 7 of those have already been filled. So, but all in all, there's another 3 with other businesses that are looking for people, portfolio accounts. So doing the accounting for their clients, working on a portfolio. So it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, no, it's there is a little bit of a turn, isn't there? I think now I certainly don't want to overstate that for everybody who's watching to think, oh, look, things are getting much better. But there's some movement at the station, as it were, that there is and it's always the temporary market that goes first.
That's right. There's activity there, which is great.
It's interesting your comments on education too, because I had some very good news from our New Zealand office this morning that we're working on we're likely to be working on a large project for education in early childhood education centres in New Zealand. So,
that's good.
Everybody's got that background and they're watching from New Zealand, and they should get in touch with our sister company Frog. I'll put Jaden on the spot if you could find the link to our Frog sister company website. You could pop that in the comments there for everybody as well. So great, fantastic. All right, well that's good news, B. We're going to be back and we'll be talking to you again in a second about a job hunting tip. So stand by.
Okay, will do.
And now let's go have a chat to Mary Savova in our Victorian office, all from working from home, of course, because Mary has got some fabulous opportunities, and we're quite proud of the work that we're doing here. Mary, do you want to tell everybody what's going on down there in Victoria with P2P?
Sure thing. So, yeah, it's been exciting for Melbourne in the last couple of weeks. We've actually been appointed as one of the agencies helping out through this aged care crisis that I'm sure we're all aware is happening at the moment. So to be part of that response team has been really rewarding, not only for the consultants, but also for the staff that we're placing. So it's a great program, and I think that the industry definitely needs some help at the moment, and obviously lots of hurdles we've got to jump through with all the new regulations now with stage 4 restrictions, but it's definitely been worthwhile, which is great.
So what type of people are you looking for then?
Yeah, so the roles vary. So we've got most of the vacancies are for personal care assistants as well as registered nurses, but there's also been some enrolled nurse roles, facility coordinators, and also reception and admin positions, which has been great to see. Obviously, being in aged care, there is a lot of requirements that are needed, but, you know, particularly for the admin roles, at a minimum, we need a current police check within 6 months, as well as a flu shot. And that goes for all of the roles. Obviously, the registered nurses and the PCAs do need quite a few more qualifications, experience, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, there's definitely roles across the board and across various locations. So we're seeing roles in central Melbourne, but then also on the southeast coast as well as the southwest coast as well. So there's across all of Victoria, we've seen some regional positions come up as well. So yeah, I mean, if you've got at least 12 months experience in this space, I'm sure we can help find something.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of rules too around COVID, isn't there, with so COVID inductions and the like. So people should have comfort that if they are applying for these roles, that the rules are being applied for.
Definitely. Every facility has a COVID plan, and full PPE is provided as well. So you know you're going to be protected head to toe. And a lot of facilities now are really looking after their staff in the way they operate and interact with candidates as well, which is with patients, which is really positive to see. So obviously there are restrictions as well in terms of working between site to site. So, whoever we are placing is staying at one facility for the remainder of their assignment, and we're eliminating anyone that is working between various. And I mean, it's pretty sure it's not allowed now with the government regulations, but it's been really rewarding. And I think we've had a lot of candidates even express interest in working with COVID facilities because they just feel like they want to give back to the community and help. And just for some of these patients, it's just having someone sit there with them and reassure them that things are going to be okay and that they've got the support, really.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty proud of the work that we're doing down there, which is fabulous. Now, if somebody's watching this, they might know somebody, or they just they might have the experience that you're looking for. How would they get in touch with you? I can see that we've got the link in the comments there for everybody.
Yes.
Is there how else could somebody?
We do also have a email address. I'll send. Gosh, it slipped my mind at the moment, but we've got a group email address as well for the healthcare team in Melbourne. So I'll share that with Jaden to pop into the group for everyone. So if someone does have experience and they'd like to reach out, we do have an email address that they can reach us on as well. And of course, our direct line in Melbourne they can reach us on as well.
Yeah, what's that number again in Melbourne?
So our main switch number would be the best. So that's 1300 338 546. I've got it.
Sorry, what was that again, just for everybody?
So it's 1300 338 546.
Fabulous, fantastic. Thanks, Mary.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Happening down in Victoria. So now let's go back to Bianca then, because Bianca's got our regular job hunting tip for this week.
Hi, Mark. I'm back.
I'm back again. Yes. Now, so you've got some tips for people who are getting into the marketplace right now.
Absolutely. So the biggest tip I can give anyone is they need to work on their personal brand. So this is an absolute game changer. You need to find a way to stand out and engage with the consultants that are specialists in your market of recruitment. So I would suggest connect on LinkedIn with anyone who is a specialist in an area of recruitment that you are looking to get into or you're currently working in, and engage in their posts. So if they're posting something, write a little comment. Definitely like their posts. Anytime you like their posts or engage with them, they will see your smiley face and they will get a notification and you will be top of mind for the next role. So that is my biggest tip. Any recruitment we do jump onto social to check the people out first as well, particularly in this landscape where we can't do face-to-face meetings anymore. It's all virtual. So we will check someone's personal brand out. So that is a huge tip.
Yeah, no, it's even more important now. I didn't even make that connection there. That if we can't see people face to face, the only way we're going to check people out is virtually. So
absolutely, socially.
You've got to be active on social media. And look, we're biased because we like recruitment consultants and recruitment agencies, but it's also the case for internal recruitment teams or corporates as well. Using that network to be engaged and be top of mind, particularly if you're in the market at the moment.
Absolutely. And applications, they say there's 273 applications per white collar job now. So if you're not standing out, you're going to get lost. So even build on your network. I had a couple of my candidates today reach out to me and say, I saw someone who used to work at P2P work for this business who is recruiting a financial controller. Can you put a good word in for me? And certainly I will do that anytime, because you have to build on your network in order to secure something in this current landscape.
Absolutely. That's absolutely 100%. We've also partnered with a company called talentwolf.co. Talentwolf.co, which is a platform for people to connect with recruiters and also to review them as well. So if anybody's online, I'll make sure I pop it in the comments so that people can check that out. But that's some really good advice, B. That is fabulous. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Now let's move on. And there's a couple of things I just need to tidy up in terms of the loose ends here. And that is, we don't have an event coming up in the next week, but we are preparing content for our P2P post. Now, what that is like a market update salary survey that we produce each year. This year, we're aiming to launch well, actually, it was aiming to be launched back in April, but now we've moved the date to be mid-September. And as part of that, we have a survey of job seekers. We've got several hundred responses so far, but I'm also keen to get more responses. And what I'll do is I'll pop the survey link in the comments straight after the broadcast today, and I'd be really keen for anybody watching to respond to that survey. It's an investment of 3 to 5 minutes. It's a series of 5 or 6 questions. So please, if you've got the time, it'll be great to do that. Actually, I can just see that the survey is now just been popped in to the comments there. So jump on that for us. That'd be fabulous. Right, I think that's it. Although, Bianca, do you want to chat again? Is that, am I seeing that at the moment? Do you have a?
If you want me to.
I thought you did. Do you have another way you wanted to talk about, or is that?
Oh, I spoke about them before. So the payroll one, the property accounting one, and the digital marketing specialist roles are the ones that we're really searching for people for at the moment. So just on the flip side of that, if anyone has MRI experience, I would love to hear from you. So MRI property.
It's a property system, is it?
Property asset management system.
Yeah, okay. Fabulous. Rightio, I think that's it, everybody. Thank you, Bianca, for joining us. Thank you, Mary, for joining us. It's been a fabulous session today. It is cold and wet outside. Man, it's not as cold as Tasmania, I don't think. But enjoy the rest of the weekend wherever you are, and we'll see you next week, 12:30 here live on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks, everybody.